Hey guys, Mobile Geezer here, and I don't know if you watched last week's Friday Night Tech Talk, but I had a story where a lot of people are believing a rumor that Apple may be coming up with home robots. Well, at Tech Radar, there's at least one writer who doesn't buy into that, and he thinks that's not going to happen. So I just wanted to present this to you, let you guys see what you think.
Let's do this!
Of course, this is a writer, Lance Ulanoff, who we see a lot from at Tech Radar. So he usually knows what he's talking about. Okay, let me drop it into reader view and get rid of some of these ads. So he came out with this on the 5th, so right after the rumors were all spreading. Mark my words, Apple will get no further with robots than it did with cars. I have no doubt that Apple is exploring robotics and has probably been doing so for years. Any major tech brand worth its salt has at least dipped its toe into the space and usually found the waters too chilly or murky to trust. Key Apple rival and partner Microsoft has dabbled in robotics since the late 1990s and into the early aughts. There were development kits and reference software, and I imagine some big plans, but they ultimately went nowhere. Google bought parkour capable robot maker Boston Dynamics in 2013. Yeah, I think we all remember that, only to sell it a few years later. Amazon has an expensive robot Astro that no one, at least that I know, owns. Sony's Aibo robot dog lived, died, and was revived, but has never sold in big numbers. Apple's apparent plans, as detailed in a Bloomberg report, though, arrive at a very different moment in the home robotics race. There are suddenly quite a few humanoid robots and robot plans popping up at Tesla, Optimus, Figure AI, NVIDIA, and elsewhere, plus all those robot dogs that are appearing everywhere from the streets of New York City to the circus as a replacement for live animals. It's like watching Battlestar Galactica. Anybody remember the dog that was called a Daggett on that? Yes, I'm old. There's a sense that maybe this time we really are closer to seeing useful home robots. And if so, why shouldn't Apple be a part of it? I'd counter that we're not nearly as close as we think. Yes, there are some amazing demos of robots understanding conversation and learning on the fly. AI is truly supercharging the cognition side of things. However, robotics is still limited by hardware, actuators, safety when engaging with humans, and especially battery life. Apple's apparent pivot towards robotics as some sort of failed car business consolation prize makes no sense. Bloomberg tech reporter Mark Gurman notes Apple's need for new revenue streams and how that's part of the reason it's now pursuing robotics. But that makes no sense. It'll be years, if not decades, before robots sell in the millions that would be necessary for the product line to generate a reliable and profit positive revenue stream. A slippery robo slope. High quality robots, even ones bound to a desktop, are expensive to make and program, and there's a high bar for human interaction. If a robot fails to appear responsive, friendly, and ready to anthropomorphize, it will fail. Even when those benchmarks are met, robot products fail. Remember Jibo? Of course you don't. No, I don't. It was designed and built by one of the smartest people I've ever met in the field of robotics, Dr. Cynthia Brazil. An MIT grad, she imagined a friendly desktop family robot that could interact, play, entertain, and help you. A lot of time was spent on the animations, and though it didn't look anything like a person, it still had that touch of humanity. It's a robot, so let's celebrate the fact it's a robot, Dr. Brazil told me. I enjoyed my brief time with it, and within a few years it had disappeared. Why? Maybe it was the development cost, that would be my guess, but more likely it's that consumers just weren't buying. I've seen so many companion robots in my time that invariably come with big promises of global domination. At most, they end up in elder care homes where aging adults pet robot seals and furry techno dogs. Nothing about this market screams mass or scale, two things Apple likes to see in virtually every product category it encounters. Yeah, so does every company. Apple could do it. I have no doubt that Apple could build a robot pet that would rival Aibo or even Boston Dynamics Spot. But if the latter is any guide, such a gorgeous, interacting, AI-driven piece of hardware might cost north of $20,000. Yeah, the cost is going to be phenomenal for these things. Apple could stick with the desktop robot that basically looks at you and can even mimic the head movements of someone on the other side of a FaceTime call, but why would they? Would Apple really build a product for what is clearly an edge case? How many people need that movement to understand what the person on the other side of a video call is trying to convey? I get what's happening here. With the loss of the decade-long will it, won't it Apple car saga, we need another Apple MacGuffin to consume our imaginations for the next 5 years or so. We'll do that until Apple finally scuttles the research project in favor of another category with broader consumer appeal. That's probably very true. Whatever Apple does or doesn't do, I'm put in mind of something Tandy Trower, Aloha Robotics founder and former Microsoft exec, who eventually ran that company's robotics program, told me a decade ago, reacting to Andy Rubin's abrupt departure from Google shortly after the company bought a bunch of robot companies and put them all under his leadership. Imagining useful, usable personal robots is easier than delivering them. So just wanted to get that out to you guys, see what you guys think about whether Apple will or won't. And I tend to lean towards him. Once I've seen his reasoning, I tend to think he's pretty right about that because there's not going to be any scale for Apple to make any money here, not for a very long time. So what do you guys think? As always, comments are welcome. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you like my content, please share the videos with friends, family, or whomever you think might be interested. Subscribe if you haven't already done so, and be sure to click the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos that I upload. And please hit the thumbs up, as it does help with the algorithm.
So there's one other thing.
We all do better when we love each other. Yeah.